Simchas Torah Tavshin Mem Tes, my grandfather had just had a hip replacement surgery. And the doctor told him he cannot go to New York and be in a crowd like that. And so he said, I will take every precaution. And so when it came to Hakafas, it was impossible to take any kind of precaution in Hakafas. There were just too many people there. And whoever was there was very, very, it wasn't just you were there and packed in. You were there with an excitement, which again, it's almost impossible to describe this. There was this anticipation and this Aufgehebenkeit. You were, it's not just like you were in a different room. You were in heaven. And therefore, you knew it. If you're going to be there, you heard about it, and they described it to you. And so if you were kipshute, you physically there, you knew that the Rebbe is about to come in, and your whole year is like going to be changed as a result of this. And when you saw the Rebbe on Simchas Torah, it was a different person. And when the Rebbe got the Torah and the Rebbe started walking down, there was a shine, a glow came from the Rebbe. That how do you describe that? So there was this. It wasn't just a crowd of people. It was a very high-strung crowd of people, and not always did the people look out for each other. There was a time where the Rebbe once turned to somebody who was pushing someone who had to hold the Sefer Torah. And the Rebbe said, if you're trying to make a place for the Sefer Torah, remember that there's a person who is holding the Sefer Torah, he's more important.
Yeah.
It was hard to remember that when you were in that kind of atmosphere.
I don't know if they're talking about the same time, but I think it was Zalman Gerari fell while holding a Torah, and people tried to take the Torah from his arms. And the Rebbe said, "Hey, both dimension, pick up the person, not the Torah. Like there's a person." Yeah.
Because that was the atmosphere of Simchas Torah, and the Rebbe was scholars like you never had. Like there was no other time of the year like this. And so I said I would stand with my grandfather by the Rebbe's hakafa and during the rest of the hakafas when the Rebbe was in his place, and the older people would stand like on the side. So me, young guy with a, just married, I would be standing with him. So I did. I went with him and I carried the Sefer Torah. He was always given a Sefer Torah to go with the entourage that went in for the first hakafa and the last hakafa, together with the Rebbe. So Rebbe would walk down the shvil. Rebbe would walk down the pathway to the middle of the shul where the bima was. The bima was surrounded by a ches, by a row of tables in the shape of a ches. Steel tables that were welded together, like stuck together. So because the crowd was so heavy. And the people who were in this entourage who were standing inside of the ches would be asked to lean against those tables. So sort of to either lean back or sit on those tables because the crowd outside of them wanted to see. And they would be blocking. So that's what they did. And I plucked myself all the way down by my grandfather's feet. So I sat on the floor right next to my grandfather inside of the ches where the Rebbe would be dancing. And the Rebbe starts dancing with the Sefer Torah. And then the Rebbe, in the later years when the Rebbe was dancing by himself, the Rebbe would take the Torah and basically fabring with every person there, make eye contact, look into the eyes. And there were thousands. And so the Rebbe would hold the Sefer Torah and go like this, for all corners of this bima. Look to every side and spend some time. I can't say a lot of time. In Tismach, the Rebbe spent a lot of time. But in regular years, it was several minutes on each side. And each side the Rebbe was on, the back was to the other side. The side that the Rebbe's face was towards would go crazy. It would jump up and down, screaming. Like, this would be such a moment, such an incredible moment. And I'm sitting on the floor. And the Rebbe comes over to this side, and the Rebbe's shoes were by my shoes. That's how close the Rebbe was. Kipshute, mamash standing at the table where the people were. And all I did was I looked up. I looked up at the Rebbe's face, the Rebbe's holy face. And I know I'm going to sound like a radical Meshuggah, and perhaps I am. I could be considered one of those. But I'm telling you, streams of light were just pouring out. I never saw the Rebbe like that because I didn't see the Rebbe that close when I was by Hakofis. I stood a little further back. So, from the distance you saw. But I didn't see that close. I was literally within 3 feet of the Rebbe. And all I saw was this energy, this light that was projecting out of the Rebbe